Welcome to the Book Binge. I'm your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and hello to everybody on Christopher's channel as well. Today, I'm doing a little bit of a different video, answering a bit of an FAQ of sorts regarding a question that has popped up a little bit. I saw it recently come up on Reddit and also on the main Red Company Discord server, the main Sun Eater fan Discord that exists out there. That is the question of what happened to war stories. First question to ask is what even is war stories? If you haven't heard Christopher talk about it in the past, I don't even know how explicitly he has talked about it in videos or anything like that. Let's switch over to my desktop real quick to show you. This is something from the Disquiet Gods and also contained within the Shadows Upon Time sort of appendix of sorts at the very end of each of those books. There is this little entry within the timeline. If you don't know, there's a timeline of everything that goes on in Hadrian's life at the end of those books, and it includes events that occur within specific books with the titles, and does the same thing with short stories and the like. So the Demons of Ere from Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 1 has a listing in here. Well, after Demon of White, there is an entry in here titled War Stories that chronicles the Red Company brings the 4-year siege of Perinthus by the Cielsen to an end. Well, in the years since Disquiet Gods has come out, nothing came out from War Stories. Nothing really happened with it. It was expected to release, sooner than later, but unfortunately never came out. And I asked Christopher about making a video on this topic to kind of explain what happened, because again, I saw a question come up on Reddit and also within, as a result, within the fan Discord, within the Red Company, that was basically just asking, hey, what actually happened to war stories? Is that still a thing? Well, the good news is that it is sort of still a thing. The bad news is that it is not a thing as war stories anymore. Now, recently, Christopher did do a post on his Patreon that explains very briefly a little bit of what happened to war stories. There's a writing preview on his Patreon right now that is available to read if you are, I believe, a member at the $10 tier or above. I might be wrong on that. I apologize if I am incorrect. But a behind-the-scenes sort of preview look at a new story titled The End of History, which is coming out in the short story collection Songs of the Sun Eater later this year come November. That collection will be one of 2 volumes that are collecting basically all of the stories from Tales of the Sun Eater, volumes 1 through 4. The End of History is a new story coming to Songs of the Sun Eater in November, has not been seen before. But this story, this is quoting directly from the Patreon, this story has a bit of an interesting history. Parts of it began as a project called War Stories, which was meant to have released a couple years ago now, but which died in development. So War Stories, the way that it originally was, is dead. It was to have been a multimedia project for the YouTube channel, but my business partners fell through on me. So the reason that War Stories never came out was because the other people involved with the project, it did not get finished. So War Stories is unfortunately dead. But it is not completely dead because parts of it have been repurposed and transformed into this new short story, this new novelette that is coming in Songs of the Sun Eater. So that is basically the answer to the question, what happened to War Stories? It died because the whole original vision of the project was not able to be completed. Speaking as somebody who was able to see basically what War Stories was going to be in its original form, as much as able anyway, and also who has now read all of The End of History myself, not just the preview, I've read the entire story, being able to see the ways that they tie together was really cool. You guys should be looking forward to The End of History because it is a really great story in and of itself, but The End of History is more or less where the content that was originally going to be in War Stories, and again, what was featured in the end of Disquiet Gods and Shadows Upon Time, this entry about Perinthus does essentially feature in The End of History. So if you're curious about War Stories, and of course if you're curious about any new Sun Eater short stories, you should definitely be looking out for Songs of the Sun Eater come November of this year. So that is the answer to the question. That is going to be the end of this video. Just a real quick, short update, I guess. Like I said, sort of an FAQ. This is a video being collaborated with Christopher's channel as well. So that is the answer to the question. The reason why I'm making this video, I suppose I should add for anybody watching this on Christopher's channel, is because I, King Crusoe, KC, I work for Christopher now. I actually work for High Matter Books. So being involved internally with the company is why this video is being made, why it was allowed to be made, why I had the information to be able to give you, and why it is now appearing also on Christopher's channel. So thank you everybody who watches this video. Hope that answered the question concisely enough. I sometimes am very bad about being wordy. I hope I wasn't too wordy this time around. Thank you one final time for watching. For now, I've been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and do be on the lookout for any other updates coming regarding Songs of the Sun Eater very shortly.